You remember Thrud in the new God of War game? The daughter of Thor? Did they really name her Thrud, Thor's daughter? Are you serious? You know what? So you know her genetics is insane already? It also comes in handy when your mom is none other than Sif herself, but how strong is Thrud? She's not necessarily on the level of her dad by any means, but in the future, who knows what the future will hold. But her dad, Thor, is strong enough to clash with Kratos, and to a decent degree. It doesn't take rocket science to see that Thrud is a fighter type character on top of her abilities thanks to her physiology from being the daughter of Thor and stuff. She inspires to be a Valkyrie queen. I mean, look at Sigrun's poster on her wall. Well, she inspires to be a Valkyrie to some degree. I mean, look at the poster of Sigrun on her wall. And when it comes to Valkyrie in general, we don't even necessarily have to be talking about the queen of the Valkyrie tiers. We can just talk about ordinary Valkyries. They're considered tough by Kratos. Matter of fact, Kratos' opinion about Sigrun is that she was a lethal opponent. And this is what Thrud strives to be like, a Valkyrie. I mean, you guys remember the last game when it comes to the Valkyrie fighting Kratos and Atreus. Even the Valkyrie queen herself, Freya, technically, who's the mightiest Valkyrie, said she's quite impressive young woman. She was actually awestruck when she met Freya, low-key meeting her idol because she loves Valkyrie, because she wants to learn from all the Valkyrie. Thrud ended up getting Mjolnir, aka Thor's hammer. On top of that, she's going to start getting her training from Sigrun himself, one of the top tier Valkyries of them all. Not only have the Valkyries fought Kratos in the past, and they can get their strength directly from Odin to get blessed by Odin himself. Obviously, Thrud ain't going to be able to do this in the future, but that's just something to note on why the Valkyries is such an issue. I mean, we know Valkyrie are beasts regardless, right? Without necessarily being blessed by Odin, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just look at the size of her even compared to Atreus. She doesn't mind dual-wielding weapons. When you actually take the time to go in her room, you can see the different weapons or versatile weapons they practice with. Stuff like this implies that she doesn't just use the two weapons she prefers, but she can use other weapons too. Like weapons like this on the wall next to the poster with Sigrun and stuff on her room. You know she's a good fighter because Kratos even said she fights well, as good of a fighter he is. She replies saying that's because her dad, aka Thor, taught her. Kratos implies that much is clear, implying that, yeah, he can tell that she can fight because of Thor, aka implying Thor can also fight really well in Kratos' eyes as well. We're talking about her skills. She's always training in her room with her practice test dummy and stuff of that such. You can see her melee combat in occasions like this. If you're in the way, she'll just two-piece you. She's not afraid to box you up with the straight hands. If she doesn't want to use no melee weapons or just swords and stuff, she would just straight up box you up fist to fist. How do you like her best? When she uses straight hands or when she actually pulls out melee weapons and etc. to show off her fighting ability with melee weapons? I like a mixture of both, but that's none of my business. More proof that she's out of ordinarily strong physically is that these weapons that you see her holding aren't as light as you probably think. So just because her weapons are lying around doesn't mean you can necessarily lift them up. You got to be pretty freaking strong to even wield them. Matter of fact, Loki, or one could say Atreus in his base form without going animal mode or nothing, getting crazy physicals, can't lift it up in his base state. To show that it takes some out of the ordinary strength to lift it, and she can just lift it up with ease. She got training from Thor himself when it comes to Valkyrie training. She's so strong, she can bully humans with ease if she doesn't watch her own strength. You can get an idea of how strong she is or could be in the future based on her brothers Magni and Modi. Her and her brothers are obviously above big trolls. Even if they're necessarily bigger than them, the size doesn't necessarily mean it. They have deity-type physiology, so they're nothing to these type of characters. When it comes to her fighting ability, she can project lightning like her dad. It's implied just like Thor. So on top of her physical strength and might and stuff, she has electrical type of manipulation where she can imbue lightning into her actual weapons. You can even see in the cutscenes how she projects lightning from her body. Yeah, she doesn't have many occasions to show off her strength, but during puzzles, or one could say gameplay mechanics wise, you can see a little implication of her might, and she does stuff effortlessly, stuff that Atreus can't do when it comes to her strength. In the lore, realistically, she should be able to just lift this all the way up or punch all the way through it, but that's none of my business. Big bull crap like this she can push. There's very good implication that she's very strong for her size for sure. Even though I will admit, I feel like her best showings are in combat when it comes to the lore of the past of what other characters have done to really get a better idea of her power, because she doesn't have that many showings to really show off herself. But based on the history, the Valkyrie in this lore in general, how strong she has to be in the future. When Odin picked up Mjolnir and hit her with it, he wasn't trying to kill her though, but she withstood an attack like that to let you know how superhuman she is because he saved her. Surprise, she actually technically is becoming the new Thor technically because she has Thor's hammer now at the end of the game ever since Thor's gone, unfortunately for her. She already can project lightning. Imagine her now as a Valkyrie with Mjolnir. The same Mjolnir that can match Kratos' Leviathan axe. You're probably thinking we're making assumptions about her power when her dad is Thor and stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean she's going to be up there with him. Well, I would agree, but you got to remember that she's already showing signs of having his abilities when it comes to lightning manipulation. So she does have some strength too. We've seen it as well. Thor can literally splinter the world tree, knock a planet-sized snake back through time by accident. All that evidence is in my Thor video. I don't want to have to keep repeating all that in this one as well. She already has the genetics of Thor, showing that she has some of his characteristics like brute strength, and she has Mjolnir and can wield Mjolnir even though it's heavy. We don't really know how heavy because this is not the MCU Mjolnir, but we all know how strong Thor was to be able to box it up with Kratos. She's getting training from Sigrun as we speak. Imagine her with Valkyrie wings. That's a scary combination. On top of all of this, man, she's going to have Mjolnir on the side as well. Make sure you watch my other God of War videos on top of this one to get a clearer picture of her power and the absurd stuff these beings in this universe have to do and who our dad is. Do you think she's going to surpass Freya or Sigrun when it comes to Valkyrie in the future? I think there's a high possibility that could happen. I mean, she's still technically on the younger side. I mean, who's to say we ain't going to see her going on adventures with Atreus later in the future? But at the same time, what do you guys think? Do you think she's going to be the mightiest Valkyrie ever in history? Or do you think she's just going to be a basic tier Valkyrie, mid-tier Valkyrie? Do you think she will surpass Faye? Somebody else that matched Thor pretty well while he was drunk, of course. Somebody that's also a giant and is a powerhouse in this universe that we didn't really get to see no fighting or screen time from. I think it would be dope if she was playable to be able to use Mjolnir, but that's none of my business. But before I get going, thanks for the donations, guys. Respect Thrud, though. Thor's daughter. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.